Hi dear students, our today's topic is winding up of a company. So let us see what is this winding up. It is a process of putting an end to the life of a company. So whenever a company is not performing well and when it is not submitting the financial statements and when the company is in insolvent position and when the company is not able to meet the requirements or in a bankruptcy situation, then the companies normally go for winding up. And at the end of winding up, the company will have no assets or liabilities. Now, let us see the modes of winding up according to Section 270 of Indian Companies Act. Normally, there are two types of winding up, that is compulsory winding up, which is done by the tribunal, and the other one is voluntary winding up, which belongs to the members who come forward. Members here nothing but the board of directors and the shareholders for voluntary winding up, and the creditors who normally come for voluntary kind of winding up. Now let us see a small note of winding up here. So when a company comes into existence by a legal process and when for any reason if it is desired to end its existence. These lines are very important. When it is desired to end its existence, it must go through the legal process. So we all know like company is an artificial person which is created by law. Only that law can wind up the company. So company is created by law and company also will be closed by the law. So, a winding up of a company is a process whereby its life is ended and its property is administered for the benefit of its creditors and members. Here in the Word document, I have given certain important points for the winding up procedure. You can please go through this Word document. Now, let us see about the modes of winding up for liquidation. And in this voluntary winding up, it starts from a special resolution. I hope you all remember the time we discussed about the meetings with regards to special resolution. So normally when important decisions has to be taken for the introduction of projects or closure of projects, a special resolution is prompted by the board of directors. So even for the winding up also, the special resolution has to be adopted by the company in its general board of meetings. And this has to adopt subject to the provisions of MOA, that is Memorandum of Association, and AOA, Articles of Association. And the basic requirements of this procedure of voluntary liquidation is the company must be able to pay its debts or other liabilities, and they also must be a solvent company, and there must be a declaration in direction in writing. In writing is very important. It should not be in oral or verbal. It must and should be in writing of the directors to pay the debts and liabilities. And adoption of special resolution by general meeting and submission in authority within 7 days. And they also have to appoint a liquidator and auditor. We will discuss in detail who is a liquidator in our next coming up lessons, and I hope you all remember, as we already discussed these classes directly in the classrooms. This is just for your revision kind of purpose. I made this Word documents, dear students. Please read through this document slowly, read point by point and understand clearly. If you have any doubts anywhere, please text me a message. And now let us move forward to the compulsory winding up or liquidation. So this normally happens when the company acts against to the interest of the state or country, or when it is making certain frauds, and when the company is not in a position to pay the debts, then tribunal will instruct the companies to be winded up or closed according to section 272 of section 2. So under what situations a compulsory winding up happens, let us see now. The first one is special resolution of a company. If the company has by a special resolution resolves that it will be wounded up by the tribunal may pass up a winding orders. So under any special resolution, For any of the reasons, certain issues cannot be resolved. However, the only option is winding up. In that situation, the tribunal will pass the orders for winding up. And the next one is inability to pay the debt. Suppose the company has taken the bank loans and not able to make the payments, and the outstanding is very much rising. The creditors are also queuing up, and it repeatedly reminding for their payments. But however, the company is unable to pay the debts, and under this situation, the compulsory winding up is preferred or recommended by the tribunal. Then, non-filing of financial statements. As you all of us know, like filing the financial statement every year or the annual returns with the register is a mandatory provision for the Companies Act. And if any company by default fails to file this with the registrar without submitting their proper balance sheet and profit and loss account along with the annual returns for 5 consecutive financial years. So when a company fails to file the financial statement for 5 consecutive financial years, the tribunal will instruct or go for compulsory winding up. Normally, the voluntary winding up, if the purpose of the company is done, then under a special resolution, the board of members and the shareholders will come forward and go for winding up of a company. Like some companies, they start up only for 3 years or 5 years to complete a given project, and once the project is completed, they will close or wind up the company by settling their books of accounts and selling off their assets. But however, the compulsory winding up, it is purely raised by the tribunal under the conditions like when it fails to submit the financial statements, and when it is an insolvency, and also when it is unable to pay the debts. And the next one is when the company acts against the sovereignty and integrity of India. Very, very important. So following such rules and restrictions is very, very important for any company. And if the tribunal finds that it is disturbing the integrity of the country or the states, which is affecting the friendly relationship among the states or countries, then tribunal shall make an order for compulsory winding up of a company. So the companies should not act against to the integrity of India. If that happens, then the tribunal will forcefully close up or wind up the company. And the next one is sick companies. So, like the sick companies, but the companies which are not able to meet the demand, the companies which do not pay the salaries on time, and the companies which are not able to complete the taken tasks from the clients, and who always delays making the payments to the creditors, and who are not properly functioning the business policies, or who are not properly functioning the business administrative system or marketing related kind of transactions, then such companies are called as sick companies. And they are also, this kind of companies are not good enough to continue for the future benefit of the nation or the state, or for the future benefit of employees. Then such companies are also forced to go for compulsory winding up. So this is about the modes of winding up. In our next classes, let us clearly learn about the powers of tribunal, liquidator, and what is voluntary winding up and its procedure in detail. Please go through this Word document along with your notes, dear students. This topic is very, very important. Whatever the lessons we are discussing every day, all the questions are very important, dear students. Please don't neglect and concentrate in your studies. Thank you.